What's going on, everybody? A little bit over a month ago, I was fortunate enough to be in attendance for the prospectwire All-American weekend in Nashville, Tennessee, celebrating some of the best talent that has come through the prospectwire organization throughout the entire year. I was blown away by the facility. I was blown away by the level of competition and the talent that was surrounding both teams, both age groups. And today I wanted to highlight those experiences. I wanted to bring on a few faces from the organization, some leaders from the organization to talk about what went into it. And then we brought some top-tier talent that has experienced the Prospect Wire All-American weekend. We're going to talk to them about how it went, what they thought, and how they think it ended up. So it is an absolute honor today to welcome to the show Brian Werner, president of Prospect Wire, and Brett Andrzejewski, the National Showcase Director. Fellas, what's going on? How you doing?
Great, Ian. How's it going? Great to be talking with you tonight.
Absolutely. I'm living the dream, man. It's a pleasure to have you guys. Brett, how you doing today?
Yes, sir, man. I'm great, man. Just excited to kind of go back and relive what that night in August or that weekend in August was. So definitely excited to see all you guys. Normally we got to wait a year for this, so definitely enjoying it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys kind of do, tournaments and showcases throughout the year, throughout the country. And at the end of the year, when everything's kind of wrapping up, you will kind of pull that talent together, the top tier talent from all of the showcases and the tournaments kind of all over the country, and you will invite them to this All-American weekend. Can you just run me through a little bit of what goes into that, what the preparation's like, and kind of what all of this is like behind the scenes, Brett, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, it starts, kind of before our summer kicks off, we reach out to all of our previous year's All-Americans, because one thing that Brian started even before I got here was, if you get invited to the All-American weekend with Prospect Wire, you're going to continue to receive that invite for the years that you're remaining eligible for the event. So as long as we're running your grad class and you've been invited in years past, you're invited back. So we kind of start to bring those guys back, and then really from there, man, we just we've got an awesome scouting department with a ton of really talented guys, baseball guys that are out there, and they're helping and on the ground at all of our tournament showcases and stuff like that. And Brian and I, we go to as many as we can as well. So just kind of keeping tabs on guys. And, at the staff meeting that kind of kicks off the year before our Memorial Day event, Brian does a great job just reaching out to all the scouting guys and saying, look, man, if you've got any dudes and you can tell there's a difference between, this specific player versus, anyone else that walks in the yard. And then they can also perform while they're at it. Then we start that kind of process of filtering in and like, okay, yep, nope, this, we've got our cross-checked system that we use, and just making sure that we've got the truly the best guys. And then once we've identified them, we'll go ahead and start that process of making contact with guys and, inviting them out there to Vanderbilt for the weekend.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. So what is kind of the overall mission of this weekend? Is it more so to showcase the talent, get them seen? Is it basically to see how they stack up against the top competition around the country, man? What is the overall goal that you're trying to achieve with the All-American weekend?
I mean, honestly, I think it's a situation where we want to celebrate the player and to make sure that, number one, first and foremost, that their experience is unlike any other event, hopefully, that they attend. We want to celebrate them for their accomplishments because, at the end of the day, these guys put a ton of work in, and a lot of it doesn't get the recognition that maybe they probably should. And so we first and foremost want to celebrate the player individually, and then, get them all together in the same spot and hopefully get them some extra recognition and just kind of celebrate the player first and foremost that way.
Love that. So, Brian, man, you've been going about this for a little while, and I was absolutely blown away by the weekend on how it went, the conditions, the competitions, the treatment. It was all top tier. It was top class, man. How long have you been doing this? And has it been progressively getting better year after year? And where does this stack up on the the past years?
It's hard to compare any one real year to from one year to the next. Talent obviously changes between grad classes and everything, and that's no disrespect to any one class. I think 2016 was the first year that we did this, and we had guys like Marcelo Mayer were there, and guys like Jordan Lawler were there, and obviously those guys are on the cusp of their major league careers, and just kind of getting started now, and obviously that's great for Prospect Wire. It obviously looks good when we have those guys and everything attending events. But over the years we've had some good talent that's been at the event. We've had some great talent that's been at the event. We've had a lot of kids that have gone on to be successful D1 careers that are getting ready for their draft classes now. In the last 4 years and everything. COVID kind of slowed us down a little bit. Some things changed obviously in 2020. In 2021, there was some complications and stuff trying to get back and everything. So it's been a little bit of a revamp. The efforts in the last few years have, in the beginning years, because you have to compete with other companies that are obviously offering these guys the world and everything, and you want to make sure that you're kind of keeping the experience where it needs to be and everything. So obviously in the first few years, in order to get some of the better talent there, you got to kind of go out and let some of the better talent in and everything. And one thing that's a testament, in the last 2 years since Brett's come on board is there's really been a concerted effort to really draw the fact this past year, the majority of the kids, all of the kids actually, that were at our events, or that was at the All-American weekend was coming from our tournaments and showcases and everything. They're kids that we saw, the kids that our scouts put their eyes on. And as Brett said, it's a testament to our staff, to our scouts that go out there and work their butts off to get the videos and that we might not be able to see every single kid or to scour through some of the live streaming. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our national tournament director, Nick Susi, who does an amazing job going out and marketing to the teams that these kids play for and being able to get them in our events so we can see them. Because before anything else, we got to have the teams in our events. So in order to have that kind of talent, to be able to bring these guys in, to be able to bring guys like Tre, like Sam, like Owen, like Collin, who's going to be joining us and everything, and all the kids that were there, it's as Brett said, it's a celebration of the kids that are at our events, the kids that we feel like are the cream of the crop, so to speak, for Prospect Wire, and more importantly, or not more importantly, but at the same time, we really want to make sure that our brand is out there, and these kids understand when they're coming to the event, it's different than some of the other events they might attend. It's a little bit more of a personal and intimate kind of thing where guys like myself, like Rob, who was there, our CEO Rob, who was there, and guys like Brett and the rest of our staff that were out there just enjoying the weekend. It's always such a cool thing for us. Every year is different than the year before it. I think Brett can, even in 2 years, can attest. Last year was a different vibe than this year. In other years, we've had some characters, so to speak, that good kids. I mean, all of them have been really good kids, but some of them have been a little bit more vocal and a little bit more, kind of character than other years. And sometimes it's been a little bit more serious, and the vibe's been a little bit more serious and that kind of thing. So in a long about way, it's hard to ever say that one year is better than the next. It's just usually one of my favorite weekends of the year, and one that we all look forward to traveling to. And thank you to Nashville and to Coach Corbin and the staff there and everything that allow us to use that kind of facility.
Yeah, it was, awesome weekend. Like I said, I was blown away by pretty much everything that was going on. It's my first experience of, top tier, competitive showcases. I loved it. Awesome to see showcasing the top tier talent. So I wanted to shift over and ask some questions to some of the players that are joining us today that went through it, experienced it, and shined, right? We are joined here today by Owen, Tre, and Sam. We'll get to all of them, ask them some questions, but these are guys that are dudes. These are guys that have showed up and they put the work in and they shined. And it's an absolute honor to have them here today. Owen, I'll start with you, man. Can you just give me a little background, brief intro, where you're from, where you're playing, what position, and man, tell me about how the weekend went.
Yeah, so I'm from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just class of 26, like you mentioned before. I go to the Webb School. It's a little private school. I play pretty much anywhere utility, middle infield, corner, just third base, outfield. But as of right now, I'm slowly starting to transition into just outfield, see what I can do out there. And then the weekend was really fun. Did really good. Obviously playing with some of these guys, some of you guys I met last year was just really cool,
It's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. I love to hear that. So what was it like being on that field, being on Vanderbilt's field, being able to take BP, being able to play some games there, man? What was that whole experience like, and how was the competition in your mind?
It's awesome. Growing up pretty much right in the backyard of Vanderbilt, them always being pretty good, going a couple of the games when I'm a little kid, and then I went last year before this year, and just being there then, taking BP, playing games. I actually met Coach Corbin my sophomore year. My freshman year. I met Coach Corbin, and it was a pretty surreal feeling. So, all
What's
those
he
games.
Like? What's he like in person?
He's just what you'd expect. Pretty cool dude. Pretty serious. I thought he gave off kind of a serious vibe. He's about business for sure. And then the competition, man, it's there's some pretty good players out there. It's pretty cool to see you stacked up against some of these guys you see that are top players in the class. So
for sure, it's a good test, man. I love that. Appreciate you elaborating a little bit there. Tre, man, what about you, dude? Can you give me a little intro, a little background on you, where you're from, where you play, and then, man, how was the experience this weekend?
Okay, so as we know, I'm Tre Hallberg. I'm from Arizona, class of 27, so sophomore this year. Just leading up to that, that event, so in that tournament, San Diego showcase that I had, I played around everywhere, third base, outfield, anywhere I need. It was the day of the championship game. I just checked my email. I got that invite. I was like, wow, this is incredible. We had that booked within 15 minutes of the invite.
That's awesome, dude.
Stepping on that field, it's incredible. It's my favorite baseball field, any field, college, high school, major leagues, my favorite one. I've dreamed of that field, and to be there for the first time is me playing there, taking BP, and just playing on the field was incredible. That week was amazing, facing guys throwing 88, 89, really high, really low, good break, these really good arms, these really good bats coming across, and just the environment, just being around all this talent was really the highlight for me.
It's awesome, man. That's awesome. It was, dude, I was blown away by the talent. Obviously, you guys had a fantastic weekend there, man. It was fun to see. Let me get, Sam, what's going on, brother? Can you just give me a little background, on where you're at, who you are, where you play, dude, and what that weekend was like for you?
Yeah, my name's Samuel Smith. I'm from Roy, Utah, just a little town outside of Ogden, about an hour north of Salt Lake. I'm mainly a pitcher outfielder, but I can work in some infield as well.
Love that, man. So how was the experience with the All-American weekend, man? How was it playing at Vandy, and what was the competition like in your mind?
I loved it down there. It was a lot different than where I'm from in Utah. Very humid, not as dry, not nearly as dry out here.
Okay.
Out there, but
the
culture was amazing like there.
What is baseball like in Utah, man? If you can give me a brief little rundown of that.
Baseball in Utah is a lot different than you would think. It's competitive in some areas. In some areas, it's not competitive at all. Like, I can go down about 2 hours south of Salt Lake towards St. George almost, and I'll see guys throwing high 80s, low 90s. And then I'll come up almost where I am, and I'll see guys throwing mid 70s, low 80s, very low 80s, especially in high school ball. Not a lot of velo behind a lot of kids.
So it probably makes it hard to get seen out there, right? If you got that varying level of competition. So something like this, like Prospect Wire hosting the All-American Weekend, that's a good way to get exposure. That's a great way to get video. Everything was videotaped, everything was documented, right? You got the stats for everything. Like that's a pretty solid opportunity in your mind, huh?
Yes, sir. It was definitely a big eye-opening experience as well, seeing more kids built like me, throw like me, play like me, how I interact with people around the country too. Like that weekend, it was insane. It was very good experience. I loved it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are used to, being the big fish in a small pond, right out where you guys are. You guys are above the competition, and then you show up to a big weekend like this, man, and it's like you got dudes left and right. It's crazy to see, man. It was fun to be a part of, like I said. So, Brett, man, planning for something like this and trying to get that top-tier talent out so we get it all in one weekend, get eyes on everybody for one weekend, man. What challenges go into producing a weekend like this?
Oh, there's a few of them. No, I mean, honestly, there's the logistics of, making sure that staff's coordinated, making sure you've got a facility lined up. I mean, making sure that just all the, I's are dotted, T's are crossed and things like that. I mean, we've already started stuff for next year. I mean, it's one of those deals where it's really a part of my job. It is a huge chunk of where I spend a lot of my time. And honestly, just kind of, the identifying the talent part, like that's the most fun part of it all. And that's the part that we enjoy, I think, the most, is just getting out there. And, we've got albeit at two different events this upcoming weekend. And we'll be looking for guys, to kind of keep tabs on. There's going to be a total of 3 events this weekend, 4 if you include one of the other showcases that we're going to be covering and doing scouting for, but I'll personally be on the ground for 2 of them. So, yeah, it's one of those deals where we just kind of we work on it year round, and to kind of see it come to fruition in August is a cool deal. Yeah,
that's big time. So, man, Brian, when you're going about putting a weekend together like this, and then it's kind of like the not the commencement, it's kind of the ending of the season, right? So it's you send everybody off going into the fall, going back to school. Man, what is the most rewarding part of pulling a weekend like this off, man? Like what's the best feeling about being able to pull a weekend like this off?
I think with each one of these events, it's down the road where you get the ultimate satisfaction. For me, it's an emotional kind of night, on draft night when when they call, guys obviously in the first round and everything. And one of the things we've always joked about, long before, back when we first started this, we always said it would be really, really cool if one of these days, one of these kids gets drafted in the first round, and when they're doing their highlights and everything, it's a Prospect Wire hat that they're actually wearing instead of other initials, and that kind of thing. But it's for us, or at least for me, and I think I speak for for a lot of our staff, it's following their careers and what they do beyond the event and everything. It's getting to know them. It's getting to know their parents. A lot of these people, Brett and I, joke that there's a couple of these guys that their parents are similar ages to us and everything. So we actually are friends offline and joke about television shows that we watch and everything. So it's more than just baseball, for a lot of things and everything. But it's following their social media accounts and enjoying their successes and everything. Guys like Sam who play multiple sports. It's a chance for us to watch him do multiple things. Tre left off pretty much right where he was this summer and in August, and came out in our Labor Day event. I think he went 12 for 12 or something like that. I don't remember what it was. He had 100 hits that weekend. If his team had won, I'm fairly certain he would have been the MVP. But it's that aspect of it for us that's the most rewarding. It's going on and seeing where these guys end up signing and going on and if college is the end of their careers, we still like talking to them, beyond that, when they're working as teachers, or they're working as coaches, or they're working as bankers, or whatever they want to do in life. It's becoming fans of them well beyond just this particular weekend, and the kids that we get a chance to spend 2 years, 3 years with. Obviously it's a little bit more intimate of a relationship with those kind of parents and everything. It's unfortunate that guys like Sam, we only get to have him for a year and everything, but we'll obviously be following his career in both baseball and football, and he'll be successful in whichever he chooses to do throughout his life and everything. But that's the end all be all for us, and I think Brett would agree that when these guys have successes in life, it makes us feel like, okay, maybe the guys that saw these guys, that hit on these guys, and it turned out that that they ended up doing something really, really special in their career. I think that's the rewarding part. I always said one of the big things for me as a scout, when I was doing that, my prospectwire days, and even so when I was doing evaluating when we first started prospectwire, it's everyone knows what Alex Rodriguez looks like. Everyone knows what Bryce Harper looks like. Everyone knows what Mike Trout looks like, or Shohei Ohtani looks like. It's taking a chance on a kid that you see something in that maybe not that immediate, he's going to Vanderbilt, he's going to USC, he's going to go play at Texas or one of those. It's a kid that you look at and go, there's something there that's special about this kid. And when you hit on something like that, and they do end up going on to have careers, beyond high school and into college and minor leagues and those kind of things, to me, that's really the coolest thing. It's not the, oh yeah, we hit right on the kid that was the first round pick and all that stuff. It's, oh, hey, we actually guessed right on the kid that ended up being a 16th or an 18th round draft pick one day or something, or a kid that just had a really great D1 or D2 college career, or JUCO career, or D3 career, whatever it might be. So I think that's the cool part for me.
Yeah, the relationships that you guys are building, man. It's the family aspect of it. I saw it just from being there that All-American weekend, just the relationships that you guys have been cultivating with your players. And then, like you said, in Sam's case, you just get them for a year, you build it, and then it goes. It's awesome to see what you guys are building over there. We got Team Thomas about to be added to the stage. Let me bring in Collin and Terrence Thomas, who are no strangers to Prospect Wire. Fellas, what's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody?
I thought for sure it was going to say Team Wolves at the bottom there.
What's going on, guys? How you doing, man?
All is well, man. Thank you for Ian, man. Thank you, and Mr. Warner, thank you for inviting us, man. Everything's good.
Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure is all mine. So obviously, what we're doing right here is I'm just cycling through with some questions. Would love to introduce you guys. If you could just give me some background, Collin, man, where you playing, where you from, and what was the experience like for All-American Weekend?
So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. My travel team is GBSA Rays, and my school team is Georgia Premier Academy. And just a rundown of my weekend, it was very exciting just to be back in Vanderbilt, see a couple new faces, see a few old faces, just get to see the coach staff and just show them my craft, what I've been working on, show that I've progressed within a year from the last time they've seen me, and just, just recycle and try to get to those stolen bags, just chasing down those stolen bases.
Yeah, man, you were going for sure. I love that. So, man, how was the competition like in your mind? So we had talked a little bit about previously before you had got on here, kind of referenced like being a big fish in a small pond. So I'm sure you were used to standing out, playing locally where you're at. Was it pretty cool to see the competition? Some top tier pitching. Maybe some things you haven't seen before, man. What was the competition like, and what was the weekend like playing on Vandy's campus?
So the new competition was really like an eye-opener because I'm used to playing guys like in the Atlanta area, maybe some teams from Florida, but I got to see some guys from like California, Texas, But just a lot of guys from all over that I'm not used to seeing. So the competition was really like an eye opener, and it was just good to see like how they play and how they're used to some guys, like a lot of guys that are from the East Coast and the West Coast, like from the West Coast, they know each other. So us combining and playing against each other and having a bond with each other was just really an eye opener.
Love it. Terrence, what was your take on the weekend, man? I know that your son is a very good baseball player, and he's had experience probably doing other showcases, other tournaments. What was this All-American weekend like for you in your mind, and how did it compare, to other weekends and other experiences that you've had?
Oh man, top tier program. And when we interviewed my guy Brian knows my guy Brian knows my heart right now. That day that I had an opportunity, he and I chatted and embraced, and you had an opportunity to give me the time to be on your platform. Just an amazing experience, man. And the eye opener, like Collin said, was like, for you all pulling all those kids from all different places in the States and bringing them together at one of the top tier programs, allowing them to just be in the era of the Vandy era, being on that field, smelling that turf was like, it's one of those opportunities, man. We've done a couple things, Ian. We've done a couple things, but that experience is priceless, man. Like, those kids will never forget that weekend. And the bond that, the younger kids, they're heavy in IG. So, to swap IGs and build a relationship with a kid that's on the West Coast that you may see down the road, but you get to create a bond right now, man. It was just an amazing opportunity. And like I told you, man, I'm so grateful for what you put together, Mr. Warner. I'm so grateful, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Fantastic weekend. What Terrence is alluding to is we had shot some side interviews. They will be up. We will highlight those throughout Prospect Wire and the 9-Hole podcast. We've done interviews with multiple people here. We're going to be bringing them out. We got something special planned, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, Owen, man, let me throw it back your way. So, how was your experience kind of compared to other weekends that you've had, other showcases, other tournaments, man? How does it compare, man?
Yeah, just like Brian kind of said, it's more of like I feel like it's more like personalized, like everybody's into it more. Like you said, like it's not like a PG, like a PBR kind of showcase thing. Like you won't see the owner of PG out there on the field with all the guys. So it's kind of just like I don't know, man. It's got a different feel to it, a different vibe to it. I feel like everybody mingles more. Everybody's like getting to know everybody more. And it was just a really awesome experience compared to everything else I've been to.
Love it. But Tre, what about you, man? Going through this whole experience, man, were you able to kind of bond with these players like you have at other weekends?
Yeah. I've been to a lot of weekends, just team things or individual things. But this is one where I've stepped on the field and started talking to guys, and it just felt like we've been friends since we were like 6th grade, 5th grade. Like even from Team East, I mean, I'll talk to some of these guys about just, the experience and where they're from and everything. It just feels like instant bond, especially with the coaches and the owners of the organization there. Like you don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, Sam, I had spent a little time in your dugout, and I saw how you were able to rally the teammates. You had no problem getting friendly with your teammates, man. You kept it loose. You kept it relaxed. Everybody was having a good time. Man, is that something that you've experienced before? So, like when you're playing baseball out in Utah, man, are you and your teammates close like that? Usually, man, what's the vibe like that in a weekend like the All-American weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Me and my teammates out in Utah, we've played together our whole lives. There's this team that I played with growing up called the Tiburones, and our coaches were from the Dominican Republic. Okay. And his son actually taught him English when he first got here.
That's incredible.
Us growing up like that, it was just always a really, really tight-knit bond together almost 24/7 in the summer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're going through a weekend like this, man. Did nerves come into play at all? Like, were you kind of second-guessing anything, or, were you nervous at any point?
I mean, the only time I really get nervous was on the plane ride over, if I'm going to be brutally honest. But it was more excitement than nerves, definitely, especially stepping onto the field and lacing up for the first time and throwing for the first time with one of my buddies that I grew up playing with from Utah. It was a surreal feeling for sure.
It's awesome. So let me kick it back over to Team Thomas. So, Collin, man, you had an insane weekend. We had talked about it. We'll talk about it more moving forward. Dude, were you nervous at all? And whenever you do get nervous, how do you overcome it?
So for the weekend, I wasn't really per se nervous. I was just really excited to get back and I was really excited just to get back, you know, chase down my stolen bases. That's really like the main thing I was trying to get back to do, because last year I got a chance to get my number up there with I think I had 7 or 8, but I was really just trying to chase the record. But other than that, I mean, I really just had fun just getting back to see the coaches, get to talk to them, see, like, asking them questions about what they see, like what progressions do they see within me, and like what have they seen between this year and last year, and just get back on the Vandy field and just see how much better I've gotten, really, in my opinion. And when I get nervous, I would say I really just take a deep breath and remember that I'm here for a reason and that I could be anywhere else but there, but I am there. So I really just take it into like consideration, like I should be grateful. Not saying that I'm not nervous, but like the nerves are gonna be there. I just have to find a way to play through.
Yeah. So Terrence, man, like we've talked about, the last question I had for you, you've experienced, you know, plenty of showcases, tournaments, man. What did you like? Like what really stood out to you the most this All-American weekend, man? Obviously, like you were front, watching every pitch, every piece of the action, man. Nothing was getting by you. So you obviously had eyes on it, man. What stood out?
So, okay. So normally in big showcases, it's competition. And it was competition there. It was but to see the kids rooting, hard rooting for each other, and they had just met some of these kids. So like my guy Samuel was said, and the young brother Tre said, kind of like that family vibe. It's different, man. Like I got a chance to record some footage that's crazy because I mic him up. So I got a ton of footage, like you said, Ian. But the family environment that is created by your staff, Brian, it is crazy, man. And it's so inviting, but it's exciting all at the same time. And it's like the baseball game. It was calm, and then pow, ball get hits in the gap. Everybody go crazy. The teammates, they're room for their guy. I mean, they're room for their guy like they're on TV. That's the vibe that you get from that experience that prospectwire like puts on. Man. It's different, man. It's different.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love to hear that, Brian. What's it like being able to kind of, you know, wrangle everybody up, get everybody on the same page, working towards one goal and one dream? Are there any like bumps in the road, getting everything to run smoothly, man? Just take me through that.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I sat here and said in front of anybody, you know, that behind the scenes it's not chaotic. It's not, you know, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't chaotic behind the scenes while things were going on. You know, because obviously there's a lot of planning that takes place. You know, once you get the kids all here or there to Vanderbilt and everything, as Brett can tell you, soreness comes up in arms. You know, kids are coming off a long summer, and that's part of the challenge. There's never a great time to run an event like this. If you run it in the fall, the kids aren't as ramped up. If you run it in the middle of the summer, they're in the heart of their travel season. If you run it, you know, in the spring, you're interfering with their high school season. So the best, you know, this is the best of the worst dates, so to speak, that you can run things. So we're grateful that the kids, especially the West Coast kids, guys like Tre, guys like Sam, and the kids that came from California and other states like that, it's a haul. And I'm not saying it's not a haul for Collin and even for Owen, who's local. It's still, you know, 3 days out of it, you know, 3.5 days out of his time and everything, where he's getting ready for school or starting school, those kind of things. So we're extremely grateful to get everyone there. but even, you know, things are going on from day to day as you got a chance to see. Just, you know, even getting back to the house every night, you know, the first thing Brett's doing is sitting up there with the staff trying to figure out what the lineup's going to be for the next day, or what the pitching rotation is going to be for the next day, because, you know, a player, you know, came and unfortunately his arm just wasn't feeling it, you know, that particular day. And it breaks our heart. You know, one kid in particular came an extremely long way from Hawaii, and we were looking forward to seeing him, you know, get out there on the mound, because he dominated when we saw him out in California, and we were excited about it. But unfortunately, his arm wasn't feeling it. And at the end of the day, it's about the kids and it's about their health. And no matter what our brand needs, or, you know, to look successful, we're never going to put a kid in a situation where, you know, he potentially could get hurt and everything. So we're always in constant, you know, communication. Brett's in communication with these guys every single day. You know, as soon as the event ends, you know, the day ends, just kind of getting a vibe and seeing and making sure that the next day is ready to go. But it's all of it, you know, from trying to find, you know, people to come and be with us and record footage of it, to, you know, to finding, you know, like the kids don't understand, you know, the little things of just trying to find a venue that is big enough and you know, and can host as many, you know, enough people and isn't, you know, necessarily a boardroom or you know, in a hotel somewhere that doesn't feel like, you know, like it's not personalized and everything. So every year we're always trying to find locations that not only highlight the city that we're running the events in, you know, but give a chance to, you know, have the kids and their parents enjoy something, you know, and which is why we host the event in Nashville. There's obviously a lot of draw from some of the other colleges, you know, that we hear from constantly. Brett, myself, and others on our staff, we hear from colleges all across the country, and we would love to be able to run this event, you know, and have it on a rotation where it goes around and everything. But obviously Vanderbilt is very proud to have it, and there's some ties there. Coach Corbin was was actually my assistant when I was at Clemson and everything. So he was coached under Jack Leggett when I played there. So he's been around that long, and I've been around that long, unfortunately. But it's all the work that goes into it kind of gives you you get a sense of relief when we do get there, when you walk on that field for the first time and everything, or when you see the kids walk in for the opening welcome and you see them with their families and you get a chance to meet them and for the first time, and then get a chance to watch them perform. You know, kind of all that stress kind of melts away and everything, and the event, you know, kind of does its thing. And our staff is amazing. They adjust on the fly very, very quickly, but the kids make it very easy for us once we actually get there and everything. But it is a very, very bumpy road on the way to Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I couldn't tell. I'll be completely honest with you. I could not tell if the road was bumpy. Everybody was just working together in unison. The players, the staff, seemed like everybody was just there to have the best weekend possible, man. So just wanted to reiterate that. It was an incredible weekend filled with incredible people. So, Brett, man, like Brian just said, I think he said it's supposed to be at Vandy again moving forward. What is the planning that you've already been doing? And is there anything big in store for 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, so that's actually part of what we're looking at right now is that's kind of evaluating where we're going to host it next year.
Okay.
You know, obviously Vanderbilt's been great since I've been around for the last 2 years, and I know they held it the year before I got there as well. So obviously they're always going to be in consideration for that, and evaluating a couple of other opportunities as well. So that's kind of step one, is figuring out where we're going to go. And then, you know, just kind of from there, just reevaluating how this year went, figuring out some ways that, you know, we can, you know, what went well, what didn't, you know what I mean? And just trying to figure out, you know, what should we continue? What tweaks can we make? And, that's kind of, where we're at right now, is just kind of figuring out, number one, where we want to be. And then number two, what the, adjustments we want to make moving forward, so that we can, again, just continue to stack on top of the progress that we've made so far.
Oh, wait, you didn't tell Trey that he's on the spot tonight. He's picking next year's uniform colors. That's why we were having him here.
Yeah, exactly. Where you want it, Trey?
Yeah, that's part of the process. It's your call for next year, buddy. Whatever you want.
Let him know.
And
Let him know, baby.
I liked our last jerseys. black and the white here with the green, but I just think a little more inclusive of the green. I think that would look good.
Ooh.
And depending on where we end up, maybe a little colors from the area. If we end up maybe down in Florida, a little brighter, maybe some inclusive of some yellow, maybe some pink on a sleeve.
Ooh.
But I like the green and just a little more green on it. But I really like these jerseys as well.
Dang, dude.
I like it,
Wow.
Trey. You're hired.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, right on the spot. That's solid.
No second guessing it, dude. Just right for it. I love that, man. Had it off the top of the dome, just like that. So, man, wrapping up here. I wanted to go around and just hear from the players, man. One more time. So, if you could wave a wand, and in the next 5-10 years, everything goes according to plan, man. If you're aiming to play in college, Owen, where is the dream for you?
The dream college?
Yeah.
Man, obviously trying to stay down south, whether it be ACC or SEC, but you know, it's changed a bunch in the past like 3-4 years. Like I wanted to go to Florida. Oh, it's too far. I want to go to Tennessee. I want to go to Vanderbilt. You know, obviously in-state in Tennessee, there's some good schools to choose from. But man, really all it comes down to is just playing, working on play. If any of those schools want to give a chance, we'll go there. We'll go play. We'll see what happens. But man, just staying down south is really just the big thing for me. It don't really matter where it is. Stay down south, stay close to home, and that's where the good baseball is anyways. That's where all the good competition is. So
love it.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. I love that. Trey, what about you, brother? If everything goes according to plan, man, where's like the dream school in your mind, or dream schools?
And I'd love an early commitment so I could just chill out my junior year, senior year. I mean, obviously that would be a goal. But dream school, it has to be Vanderbilt. It has to be. I love Tennessee. I love the surrounding area. And Vanderbilt, I value my education as well, just as much as my baseball. I can get a great diploma from there. And honestly, just kick it off after that. Minor leagues, major leagues, whatever happens in my life. I mean, that's the goal.
Amen. Trey, you got fire answers tonight, brother. I love that. Sam, dude, what about you, man? Everything goes according to plan, dude. Where are you hoping to aim up, man? Where's the goal?
Well, obviously the main goal is to make it officially to the league. That's the big goal in mind. But for college, just wherever would make me the best player and human, mainly as I could be, and especially that academics as well, get that diploma. But you know, it wouldn't hurt to go to a big Power 5 like TCU, Tennessee. That'd always be nice as well.
Absolutely.
Which sport?
Right now I'm leaning towards a baseball, but if something happens and they want me to play baseball and football, that wouldn't hurt or anything. But
never know.
Definitely baseball. Yeah, yes, sir.
Love that, man. So, Collin, man, what about you? Have you given it any thought, man? Where's the dream? College-wise, man. Next level. What are you thinking?
So I've given it some thought. I haven't really got in tune with it yet because I still have another year before recruitment comes around. So I'm really just trying to, this year right here, just focus on becoming the best player I can become and not focus on playing for the college, but like just getting myself in a position where I can be the best ball player that I want to become and just really focus on myself. So when that time does come, I don't get nervous when I see all the scouts around behind the fence, or if a coach is coming to see me, I don't get nervous. I'm just really trying to get in tune with myself. So when that time does come, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm just playing ball, having fun like it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be fun. If it's not any fun, then there's no point in playing it. But I have some schools in mind, but I'm really just trying to focus on myself and playing.
Love it, man. Fantastic answers right there. So, Terrence, how do you feel? How do you feel about all this competitive baseball stuff and how it's kind of, stacking up for college baseball moving forward?
The game is great. I mean, it is one that if you've been around it for a long time, you understand what I mean when I say it's great. Here's what I'm going to say, Ian, and I hope 1 million people see this, Ian. This game is very, very expensive, brother. It is very expensive, but it's very rewarding. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot of exposure, and not just exposure just for baseball. Like I'm looking at Tre and Owen and Samuel in here. You never know how life can take you. You never know what road sometimes it can take you down. It could start at baseball, like we're all here for baseball, but you never know the relationships, man. And that's the biggest piece to, I think, our lives. I feel like the Spirit gave us the opportunity to create relentless relationships. And I met you a couple of weeks back. I saw my guy Brian again a couple of weeks back, and look at where this has led to now. But then I look down the road of how it can turn into something additional to this too. So the whole game is just, man, it's life-changing. This game is life-changing. This experience is just one that you'll never forget, because you won't forget the people that you met. And it's all because of this game, this great game that my kid, well, my oldest son and my youngest son plays now. But the overall deal to it is it's a game changer, man.
Love
it. It's a game changer, Ian.
I love that, man. I love it. I love it. So much opportunity, so many good relationships to be had, so many good experiences to have. And the Prospect Wire All-American Weekend is one of those. And just, it's run by a great organization, a lot of great people involved in it. I want to thank you guys for showing up, giving me 45 or so minutes of your night to talk about your experiences. Man, this is not going to be the last time that we will have Prospect Wire on. We will have them on again moving forward, and we will be showcasing some of that content that we had recorded, some interviews that we had recorded on the side at this event. Really looking forward to it. Brian and Brett, man, closing statements, man, any closing remarks, man? The floor is all yours.
Go ahead, Brett.
All right. Yeah, no. Hey, Ian, I just appreciate you having us on, and Owen, Tre, Sam, Mr. Thomas, and Collin. Guys, I just appreciate you joining us tonight, but also appreciate you guys joining us in August. And, again, I am this is the fun part of now we get to continue to watch you guys, whether it's at our events or on social media and other stuff you guys are doing. I wish you guys nothing but the best moving into the fall, and as you guys are getting ready for your spring seasons with your school teams as well.
Love that. Brian, what about you, man? You got anything you want to close off with?
No, I mean, like Brett said, obviously, thank you to the guys that are here with us tonight and everything, and to their parents for allowing them to be with us in Nashville, and the ones that were able to obviously make the trip, and the whole families that were with us, and even the ones that weren't, that sent their kids off with other parents and those kind of things. We thank you for trusting other parents with your kids and everything. It's a big thing to undertake, going across the country for a lot of these kids, when they're not with their families and everything. But more so, thank you to my staff, our staff and everything at Prospect Wire. We're nothing if we're not a group with that's working together for one goal. I wish we could have every one of the 70, 80 kids, whatever it was, whatever the actual number was that were with us. I wish we could have them all on. And highlight every single one of them, and spend days talking to each one of them, because that's the one thing we miss the most after the event's over with is we miss the personalities. We don't always miss some people and their harmonicas, or we don't miss the harmonica, but we do miss the personalities, and guys like that are obviously memorable guys long past anything else. A lot of these guys they'll go on to have great baseball careers, but we'll all remember things like Collin and his harmonica for 3 days and everything. It'll kind of be something that that kids will laugh about one day on whatever form of social media we have in 20 years. But, just thank you, Ian, for being with us. It means a lot for you to take the time to come to Nashville and be a part of everything, and just stay with us. Which I know is a little bit hectic. As you see, we don't exactly do it the conventional way on or off the field, but we appreciate you being with us and powering through that weekend, and we look forward to hopefully spreading the Prospect Wire brand all around and bringing it to some new places as we go forward in the future.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome, fantastic weekend. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the 9 Hole Podcast. We will catch you guys back here again next time.